So you had the opportunity. You blessed my stage several times. One of them was definitely with the Mike Revolution, the mental health awareness event, and you kicked off a nice piece, man. And you just kind of talked about how poetry has helped your mental health. Talk about that a little bit.
So I've always dealt with depression, and it got to the point where I had no options. I didn't know where to go. I was dealing with the stigmata of being a black man, so I can't go ask for help because that's a sign of weakness. And those are all the things that I was dealing with at the time. And I remember, like the piece that we were speaking of for the Mike Revolution, I was sitting down and I had my phone and I had a gun. And I had a decision to make, that which one I was gonna put in my hand and use on me. And I'm very thankful. I grabbed my phone, I started writing, and I realized that whatever I'm dealing with, someone else is probably dealing with no outlet. I have an outlet. So with this outlet, I know I can use to help others who are possibly going through something that I'm going through, or something else that they can relate to it. So for me, poetry is more than just a hobby. Like it's a lifeline for me. It saved my life, and I'm gonna definitely use it to see if I can save others.
I wrote this piece at a time where I had a choice to make between grabbing a pen and grabbing a pistol. And I just thank God I decided to grab my pen. And it's called I Admit It. I admit it. I have a hard time expressing the emotions that reside inside of me. The forced confidence I allow you to see is really only a mask to prevent your knowledge of the tears that are forming in my eyes. You see, I usually hide my pain pretty well. But there are days. There are days that I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is just a fight that I am no longer willing to fight anymore. Sometimes I even feel like the burden of life is already too heavy, but the weight is constantly growing, creating pressures on my brain that sends negative messages to my heart, telling me daily that I should just give up. And I admit it. That option does put a rare, real smile on my face. But on those days, when I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is a fight that I am no longer willing to fight, I am completely convinced that my existence has been nothing but a hindrance to all those who have come in contact with me, and I admit it. I promise you, y'all, sometimes I really hate it. I hate that I have to lie to my mother when she's asking me if I'm okay. I quickly tell her I'm fine, but I only get away with that lie over a text message or an inbox because I refuse to look her in her eyes. You see, your mama always knows when you're lying. If she looks me in my eyes, she will then know that there is a war raging inside of me between good and evil, and to be honest with you, I'm not even sure which side my depression is even on. I have to protect her from all of that, and I admit it. I have a habit of bottling up my pain, refusing to share it until it is constantly shook and explodes on all those around me, leaving stains of my hurt on their lives. Do you have any idea how hard it is to wash pain out of a heart that lives in somebody else's chest? But I admit it. Sometimes I just want to end it all. But on those days, when I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is a fight that I am no longer willing to fight, I reach for the only therapy that I know. I grab my pen and I ink my emotion between two thin blue lines on college rule paper, and the dam of confidence is removed and the tears that I am afraid to show begin to fall. Smearing the lines of paper, but you see, I keep writing. I write until the tears stop. And I admit it, I have a hard time expressing the emotion that resides deep inside of me. The forced confidence I allow you to see is really only a mask to prevent the knowledge of the tears that are forming in my eyes. Like I told you, I usually hide my pain pretty well. But there are days when I feel like the struggle to defeat my depression is just a fight that I am no longer willing to fight. But on today, I will not let that be that day.
For young people, what would you tell young people who have, some writing skills, who wants to step on that stage, what would you tell them?
Honestly, get started. The hardest part is starting. For me, that's what it was. I've always had a desire, but I just couldn't get started. Man. Get started. Once you get started, man, don't let nothing stop you. It doesn't matter. When you write your pieces, you're not writing your pieces to figure out who's gonna like your pieces. Like, I don't write my pieces for someone to be like, I like that. No, I write my pieces to heal me. I write my pieces in hope they heal others. So just get started, and once you get going, man, don't let nobody stop your fire. Don't let nobody put your fire out. You have that flame for a reason. So get it.
P.A.W.C.R.A.M da Poet, you are very dope. I love your work. Any show that I have, you definitely will be on that stage. Why don't you kick out your information and tell people how they can get a hold of you, to book you, to check out some of your platforms, just to check you out? How do they go about that?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook under P.A.W.C.R.A.M King. Also, I have a show that I do every last Tuesday of the month called Epiphany Radio. The For Real Entertainment Network presents C.R.A.M Sessions with your host P.A.W.C.R.A.M da Poet. We have live features, we have music artists, so it's really dope shows. You can follow me there. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Real P.A.W.C.R.A.M. And if you want to participate on the show, or if you want to book me, C.R.A.M Sessions Poetry at gmail.com is where you can hit me at. That's CRAMSESSIONS Poetry at gmail.com. And I'm available for all bookings.
P.A.W.C.R.A.M da Poet, you dope. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.